Yo, what's up, everyone? Sorry, I got up an hour late today, so I'm working on some stuff really quick before I can just get going. But we still got, as long as we got like 5 minutes before the open, we'll be chilling. Let me let everyone know that I am live. Sorry for being late. Try not to be late. Let's see what's up. The website, yeah, the website is down, guys, right now. Servers are down, so yeah, we'll talk about that. But what are your Zoom settings on Mac to use TradingView? One you drop from the test top right? I have no idea. We can look at that later. Anyways, inside J so far. YM, we'll talk about this really quick. So I just put out a tweet this morning. Let's talk about it really quick. Oops. Let me grab the right screenshot. All right, we're going to talk about this really quick for 2 minutes. So, essentially, when the market is decoupled, YM was going very bullish, right? And the other two were not. Something has to come back into alignment. Usually that's NQ or YM, right? And so basically I was saying, from this photo, which one's coming back into alignment? Well, these two, NASDAQ, ES, are basically flat on the day, or were, kind of are. And YM is down, 0.63%, right? So obviously YM is the one coming back into alignment. So what do I mean by that? If you go to yesterday, right? What do we see? We see YM, very bullish. NQ, lower, right? So one of these is lying, right? It's either going to be NASDAQ really ripping to catch up and YM staying high, or it's going to be YM dropping and NASDAQ staying down, right? So that's just coming back into alignment. And so if you notice what did happen, YM currently. Right, so that's just a little lesson from this morning. Yes, guys, website is down. You can say that. Website is down currently. If you want the indicator, all right, there you go. So those are direct links. If you want the indicator, you can still use the sale. You just got to use those direct links. Okay. All right. Anyways, so right now, it's like, where could YM be going? Well, if you look at my invalidation video, we've disrespected the EQ. The only other thing would be previous day low, right? If you notice, it is the weakest currently. NQ holding up. ES is also weak. There's really not much to do. We do have FOMC. We can see if there's anything intraday. You can see YM set up really nice actually for the reversal. But ES NQ, probably just let it open and we'll talk about it. It's not like yesterday where we have an anticipation prior to the open. Let's see what's happening on gold. Go to the hour. Gold, we are bearish, right? We spoke about that yesterday. We open, and this isn't amazing as well because it's already hit its target, but we open and we trade higher. It's not very ideal price action, but we do respect this high. And then we trade back towards the open into our current day low. So that is bearish, but you notice we've already taken out this short-term low or the overnight low. So this is where we can get some consolidation. Silver, stronger, oil. I don't know if I spoke about this yesterday. I did on my Ninja Trader stream on Tuesday, so that would be yesterday. Basically, I'm looking for this level I have marked out here on the screen to either hold, create a new swing, or we're going to consolidate. And so you can see so far, we hit this level, we have a nice reversal of it. So we have this gap to go look for. I would just use this gap. Why am I not using this full gap? I'm just using the gap where there is no volume whatsoever. Let's see, dollar. I am bullish on the dollar for this week. You know, it's not doing much. That daily candle looks like that. Let's take a look at the hour really quick. So you have expansion and then a consolidation. I want a run of the consolidation low. I don't know if we ran it or not. That is quite sketchy. Very shallow sweep. But normally, mechanically, I'd look for a sweep of the previous day's low to frame the reversal as a candle to higher. It's very similar to if we go to NQ here on the daily. This same day here, where we had inside day, sweep at the low, frame higher. Obviously, stuff's going to be waiting on the rates today, so that's really it. We can wait for the open now. Kind of watch these, see what's up. You can watch it on like something like an hour. Don't really care to go too much lower because if I kind of lack what I want to see and I go too low, I'm going to start looking at price action and thinking something of it when I don't need to be. Because if you look, there's no real profile today, right? We open, we go low, we go high, we go low, we go. It's just consolidating, right? So if it's going to remain internal, we'll look at this. We have a protected high here. We have a protected low here. We are literally just sitting in a range between protected swings. So yes, we have SMT on previous day high, yeah. We also have SMT on previous day low. We're like here, you know? So, you know, it is very, very sketchy today, I would say. It's probably gonna wait for the news. How do you have your charts appear like that with the daily candles on the other time frame? So this is my indicator. Now, you can normally get this at indicator.ttrades.com. However, my servers are down for my website. So if you want to check it out, I pinned the direct links in the description, not in the description, in this comment section. If you want to check that out, you can use save 35 for the yearly, save 25 for the monthly. What about the 15-minute fractal at 9:02? What do you mean? 9:02, 15-minute fractal. The bearish one? 9:02. I'm assuming you mean bearish. You mean 15-minute, then 1 minute? I mean, sure, you have a setup here, right? You have a protected swing. It's just you're trading a range right before the open, right? 9:30 is probably gonna whipsaw, right? So it's like, I mean, sure, if you want to do something, but like I'm expecting consolidation off the open, right? So if we sweep this high, then generally speaking, I expect it to get taken out, and then for price to reverse, go to the lows, you know? So you can see price opens, takes out the high, now going to the lows. Do I want to trade that? Personally, not for me. I don't want to high frequency scalp the 15-second, right? Does that make sense? Like the open, very choppy, so it's usually going to run the ranges. What's the closest? Right here. So you can see my drawing essentially just marked out everything that was happening. But nonetheless, personally, I wouldn't really try to trade a 15-minute fractal like that when we're in a range before the open, right? Like this is not ideal. You know, this can make sense. You know, off the open you have a manipulation, but let's go back to the higher time frames, right? We can sell at 15. So. Yeah. Kind of fun. Little move there. Does let me know, type a 1 in chat if you understand why I anticipated sweep of this high, run to the lows. Does that make sense, or do you want me to explain? Right. 1, 1, 2. One person doesn't understand. Most people are understanding. It's mixed. All right, well, let me talk about it. Ready? What do we have? This is just, now we've hit the range low, right? But why did I anticipate that, right? Because before the high got taken, right before the open, right, we anticipated. Let's go back to yesterday really quick, right? Yesterday, we have an anticipation. We have some sort of high day to trust. And then we have SMT here. And we talk about, if we're gonna, continue the structure, I need this to just sell off, right? We talked about that. We have some sort of anticipation. Going into today, what is our profile? Look at this. It's just chop, right? So I have a lack of bias, right? So I have no real direction. I'm just going to assume that price is going to consolidate, which means what? Consolidate means it takes out range highs, comes back into the range, takes out range lows, comes back into the range. So if we have 930 open, which provides the volatility, we spoke about this yesterday, and we have a consolidation, and we're sitting right here. Do I think that price is going to sweep this out first or this out first? This, right? Okay, if I'm expecting it to stay range bound, what do I want to see? Run at the low. What do I expect at this low? Back into the range. So let's go back to the 1 minute chart where we were talking about it. What do we have? We have a range, right? Prior to the open, right? We're sitting right here. So what do I want to see? 930, manipulate this high in the range, go to the low. We take out the low in the range. Now what are we doing? Back into the highs. I'm expecting consolidation. I'm expecting whipsaw price action. So I'm expecting price to take highs, go to the lows, take lows, go to the highs, or back into the middle of it, right? So does it make sense why I'm not anticipating price like I was yesterday to just expand out and drop? I'm expecting it to stay range bound and to chop around. Can you guys type a 1 if that makes sense now, right? Yeah. Hopefully. All right, cool. So you guys got it figured out. You see why I don't know what's going on now, right? It's just more of a reaction game. If you're looking at the 15-minute profile, right, from the 4-hour chart, price would say, all right, well, I'd still want to see us back to this open here, right? Because if this is a bullish reversal candle in line with this trend higher, it returns back to its opening price for the liquidity around it. And now it's bullish to me. But like, guys, it's one thing to anticipate this little bit of movement without any higher time frame backing, and it's another thing to anticipate movement with a higher time frame setup and backing, right? So where could I see this going? I could see this going up into these highs, cool, right? But that's not something I really wish to put a trade on or do anything like that. I put the higher time frame trade next to the lower time, or this is my indicator. So you can see it on the screen. There's currently a flash sale for it as well. Since the website is down, I'll check to see when it comes back up, but I may have to extend that a day because people are struggling to get it. But let's go back to the 1 minute, right? Where is that 4-hour open? We'll actually mark that out. Go back to the 1 minute. There's our 4-hour open, and then we have the liquidity around it, right? So whipsaw, and then we have the intended direction of the 4-hour, right? It's not super clean. This I'm less confident on. I'm more confident on just like whipsawing around, right? When price is consolidating, I prefer not to anticipate breakouts, but I think it's best to wait for the new month. Yeah, it just depends how you trade, Add an indicator or trial to the indicator. You want to know why I don't do a trial? I went over this before. Ready? He trades, tries to be a nice guy. Sets up trial. Everyone makes new email, uses trial. Trial ends. Makes new email, uses trial. Trial ends. Makes new email, uses trial. You see what I mean? It's just how it works. It's how people work, right? So you see what I mean is like I prefer not to trade these breakouts. I still would anticipate some sort of swing low forming in here, go higher. Just in terms of we are bullish on the higher time frame trend, but this is more of a reaction game right now. So we're gonna go head back out to the hourly. I was just trying to teach you guys some things in there. Does being above midnight open? I don't use midnight open personally. I just use the daily open because I'm trying to trade the daily candle. I'm going to use the open of the daily candle. What is your bias? I don't really have much of a bias right now, guys. We have rates coming out later today, and you know, we're chopping, right? Ready? Go look at any of my videos. We have. This is not a bad closure, right? It's not a bad closure for the next day, right? But what would we need? We need kind of low to respect that, and then we can go trend higher. What do we get? We immediately dump like way too deep. Okay, cool. Now we'd have to respect this area, right? We don't respect this area at all. So like this candle here at 2100 is telling you that this daily profile sucks, right? So it's not a bad daily setup. It's just in terms of the price action leading up, it's not great. How come I don't get the protected swing dots on the higher time frames? What do you mean? Which higher time frames? But it's you don't get them on the higher time frames here, you get them on the lower time frames. But this is not a good sign when you have still a bearish model. If you look, we're in candle 4 of a bearish model, right? It didn't close well enough to remain bearish, but this is still a swing point. Candle 3 here, candle 4, and then now we have a bullish. It's not very one-sided today. I can only see them on 1 minute, not higher. I would check your fractal and make sure you have it on automatic. If not, text in the Discord and my brother or I will help you out. Can we use the ICCISD on the 15-minute in London? Yeah, sure. Like I spoke about in previous streams as well, trading pre-open or London. What do I like? H4 and 15 or daily H1 personally. So if you're trading in London, I do like the H4 and 15. And so you're saying, hey, could I trade a continuation in here? Sure. It's just, are you expecting to trade away from these failure swings and go up into the high? If you are, that's up to you. It would be quite tough for me to say that. You think about short. You guys love gold, you know? You guys are so funny. I swear we could be like watching the most trended asset and we'll be like gold, gold, gold. This is not bad though. What do we have? Candle 2 closure, candle 3. Candle 3 closes strong. So this is a candle 4 continuation lower. We can go to the hourly. Mark that up, right? Like I said, yes, it's bearish, as I said earlier, but we've already taken out this intraday low, previous day low, right? So this is an area where we can get some sort of retracement or consolidation. And a different day, I would consider it when you have rates coming out later today. It makes me not like it as much, right? It's like, yeah, just probably won't touch that. Liquidity looks pretty awful as well. So. All right. Nice. NASDAQ is going to do absolutely nothing. So let's do this. There's not much to do in terms of price action. So let me get some codes. And let's answer people's questions. What are you struggling with in your trading? Let's see if we can answer questions from people. I don't know if you guys can hear me drinking my water, but it's such a weird sound. I personally have BADjust turned on. For New York, what time frame? I use 8 a.m. to around 11. How many pairs would you suggest on a watch list? This really comes up to how do you trade and what do you want to trade, right? I personally prefer indices, so that's my main focus, but I'll also watch gold. These other things here, oil, that's more of a swing trade for me, or dollar, I'll only trade it on the higher time frames, right? So I have these up, but I don't have to look at all these assets, all these down here, I don't look at, especially exotic pairs, unless I have something with the dollar. If the dollar is trending, right, then I pair it with another currency. if the dollar's not trending, I don't really do this because I don't really care too much to trade Forex, and I actually can't really unless I was to long one asset on futures and short another, is you can pair currencies together. So if the dollar's not moving, you can find a strong and a weak one, right? So for instance, AUD is trending down. What's bullish today? You know, you could just do AUD USD like we spoke about, I think, on yesterday's stream, actually, right? Yeah, right. Yeah, this is what we spoke about yesterday in terms of choosing an asset. But what I'm saying with a watch list is it's just however many you want to watch. It depends how you trade. I like to trade more of higher time frames and, you know, very clean setups, so I have more assets so I can get more setups. But do I plan to live stream more frequently? Really just on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for the most part. I like streaming, but dude, if I don't know if I want to do it every day. Right here. Yeah, this is a good question. Hey T, so in the swing strategy, would you say it's necessary that daily has a point of interest, basically price hitting a point of interest before the candle closure? For me, no. Because as long as you understand the profile and what price is doing and where it's going, I'm fine with it. So for instance here, we're going to redraw on NASDAQ here to make it a little bit cleaner for the explanation. Ready? Let's say it looked like that. Pretty clean, right? It has a point of interest. If I see price, you know, expanding, retracing, has a nice closure, and I don't have this fair value gap here. Let's say it looks like this. Am I just going to say nope on this? No, because I still have the context of the monthly candle trending down. So on the daily is this one specific time frame that I don't require a point of interest. It's ideal, but I don't require it as long as I have the context of other things, right? Because like right here, this is still clean to me, right? Even without this fair value gap, this is still an aggressive candle. You know what I mean? So that's how I'd answer that question. Is trading easy? It's the easiest, hardest thing you'll ever do. If that makes sense. Guys, this is my indicator. You can check the essentially link that is in the comments because my website is down right now, but I direct linked. It is on sale right now, as you can see on the side of the screen. Why don't you show us your trades, results, signals, all that? Because here's my thing is, if I show money or anything like that, one, you're just going to compare yourself to it, which isn't beneficial in your own trading. Two, it's like if you use money to sell something like a course, that can go against the FTC's guidelines, which I'd like to be not violating those. But yeah, overall, it's like, I'm here to teach. If you want to learn, you can learn for free. If you are like, hey, he doesn't show money, I don't want to learn from him, cool, you don't have to learn from me. You can do it for free, you know? So I almost lost an eval account. Then I made it all the way back being very disciplined, but now it neither grows nor draws down. I'm more hesitant to take trades. All right, let's go. This is going to be a psychological one. All right. Oh, I missed the screenshot. What an L. All right, hold up. There we go. Okay. What does this mean? It means that you saw the process actually work. What do I mean by that? You went into all this drawdown and then you decided, hey, I'm going to be disciplined, and you watched you actually make the money back, right? Or the demo account back, basically, right? That's what evals are. You saw this work. Then you got to this break-even point, this arbitrary number where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm back, right? And then your brain goes, I don't want to go back there. Where is there? There is equal to drawdown. So now you have this underlying fear of going back, which means you don't place trades out of fear. So how do we fix this? And you guys, I want you to know, I'm not a psychologist. I'm just taking what I know about people I've helped and worked with to anticipate basically what they're dealing with, right? So if I'm wrong, but this is just how I am anticipating what you're struggling with. How to fix. Stop focusing on account, balance, etc. If a trade aligns with your system, take it. There you go. Just follow your system. Just keep doing it, right? Don't let some arbitrary number where you go, this is your break even. Can't draw a straight line. Wow, embarrassing. Don't let some account balance where, you know, you went here and then now you're back here. Don't let the fact that you're back here stop you from doing what got you back there. Do what you did here. Just keep doing it. All right. You're bullish if it sweeps. I mean, dude, you guys can watch this if you want. Not really. It's not really my type of trading, but, you know, if that's what you're into. I mean, it's like, it's the same thing. I like women. You may not, you know. You might like this type of trading. I don't, you know. All right. I traded overnight, but got hit on a stop loss. I saw bearish C2 closer on the 4 hour and decided to trade the candle 3, but instead C3 turned out to be another bullish C2 and wiped me out. Why? Got to look at your higher time frame backing. I don't know where you're entering. Maybe in here, right? You gotta look at the context of the day, right? Let's say right here. What do we notice, guys? Could you say that this wick is formed? Sure, right? We have a nice bearish move. If we close below here and here, we have, you know, new protected swings, right? Could I anticipate this to go to the downside? Sure, but am I gonna take that? No, because what? I'm expecting consolidation right now, right? So I'd expect this, right? So just because something mechanically shows up doesn't mean it's good, right? Right? Could it drop? Yeah. Am I gonna be on side? No. Right? You can mess with that if you want. Mechanically a valid C3 within my system. You have the CISD, you know, continuation that's formed. Cool. It's not my trade because I don't have the backing from the higher time frame, right? And if this dumps, you'll see people trading it, and that's great. Good for them. It's just, you got to realize what is your model, what are your conditions, all of that. Hey, T, do you know PB Blake? Yeah, I actually text him. He's a friend of mine. But I don't trade IFEGs, so can't really comment on it. Can you explain the silver bullet in simple ways? All right, guys, ready? We're going to talk about something. Silver bullet, fancy name models, holy grail. What do these all have in common? Someone's searching for some easy system that works 100% of the time. Guess what, guys? None of this exists, right? So what would you say is you're like, hey, can you explain the silver bullet this? No, I don't use it. I use my model. And that's all I use, right? There's no holy grail to it. There's no fancy stuff with it. It's just, I use my model. This is the system I use to trade. This is the system I teach. You can learn it for free. Go out and learn it. It works for people, etc., etc. I'm not going to pretend like this is the trading system to holy grain. Nice. All right, whatever. I'm typing quick. But you guys get what I'm saying? So I'm not going to sit here and try to explain some silver bullet, right? I made a video on that. Maybe I shouldn't have, right? It's more of a clickbaity type thing. You don't see clickbait on my channel right anymore, ever. I've had like maybe one video that was clickbait. And that's because this is my system. I'm not going to pretend like it's something it's not. And if you want to learn it, you can. There you go. T, can you do the monotone voice again? Sure. I'll do it for the next question. I'll take you back. What is an IC CISD? I have a video for this, by the way. we'll go into, yeah, see, look at NASDAQ dumping. Cool, right? Some people definitely traded that. I don't really care, right? It's not my trade. Let's go to, what should we do? Let's just do 3-minute in Asia. Let's do this. Ready? Let's go in here. Let's talk about ICCISD. What is it? ICCISD is basically the CISD, or continuation, a protected swing that forms the wick of the higher time frame candle, right, in candle 3. In this case, it doesn't actually. It would have been more ideal if it, reaches like that, right, for this explanation. But, can't always find a perfect example. But all it is we have a continuation or a reversal here. We're seeking a continuation. We want to let this wick form. It's my way of trying to teach people to let the wick form by mechanically creating a rule around it. So open, let a continuation form that forms the wick. Once that closes, trade that higher with your stop on that wick, right? But I have a full video on that. Nice. As you notice, I don't care, right? If this gets you upset, right? I don't know what to say to you, right? All right, let's see. How would you trace SPY intraday? All right, so let's talk about what is SPY. SPY is S&P, right? ETF. So what is ES? That's the S&P futures, right? SPX is the index. These are all correlated, right? If I want to be trading SPY intraday, SPY opens at what? 9:30. Hence why we have 9:30 volatility. It's when the normal market opens, I use overnight data a lot in my strategy. So I'm not going to use SPY. I'm going to hop right over here to ES futures, and I would chart and do all my analysis on ES futures, and then I would go back to SPY to trade it. Does that make sense? So for instance, we'll go to ES right now. ES going lower, right? I would use this whole profile here, all of this, to then go trade SPY, right? Me looking at SPY right now, this is just where it opens, right? I don't really have that overnight data. That's why I would want to use ES. Right? All right, hopefully that helps. Nice, there we go. Did YM take out the low? Previous day low? Not yet. I guess we could have anticipated that a little better. I just have such low expectations on an FOMC day. I definitely could have improved that analysis today, but it is what it is. Can't be good every single day, And do all right though. Let's see. Do I use fundamental analysis? No. I don't have expectations for FOMC release. You want a Blue Guardian account. Yo, Loki, this is actually kind of sick on ES. All the SMTs and stuff. I definitely could have messed that. I messed today's analysis up, to be honest. But anyways, we'll learn from it and move on. What should we do? I'm not going to give them all away at once. But we're going to do Blue Guardian account, since that's what you asked for. This is a Blue Guardian reserve 50K. I spelled the reserve wrong. 50K account. There you go. There is one. Yeah, you definitely could have traded this. It's just not my type of trade. Looking back, if I would have probably had a little bit of better analysis, probably could have traded ES. Probably would have taken ES if I wasn't being a little silly, but either works. It's all right. I miss it. All right. So shall we talk about my mistake in my analysis? Type of 1 if you want that. We talk about that? Type of 1 if you want me to talk about it. Because my idea was consolidation because of the day, all of that. I was clearly wrong. So instead of trying to have an ego and saying, oh, you know, I'm never wrong, all that. No, I accept that the market's always right. So let's talk about it, right? Who can tell me what I talked about on indices when I first came in, right? There was one thing I talked about. It was on YM. I even have it marked up. This is why I realized my mistake, because I saw it and I didn't do anything about it. The thought was the decoupling and YM coming into sync. It's disrespected the EQ of this. You guys remember talking about it? And that it could go to previous day low. Exactly. So with that, I have that idea of going into previous day low. I could wait for the open and look to trade it into previous day low, right? Or what do we know? This is how I would have rather framed it. We have NQ, ES, YM. If YM is the weakest going into previous day low, what would be the next one to focus on, right? If I wanted to trade something following that idea. Who can answer? ES, exactly, right? So I could have focused on ES, right? Gone down into here. I don't know why it's so blurry now. We're just gonna reload the chart really quick. All right, well, apparently my internet just sucks. Then I could have gone into something in here. And what do we have? We have this continuation that forms. If you remember, 930 on ES took out the highs, right? So we have the SMT, or NQ, little SMT right there. So I could have looked to trade some sort of continuation in here, right? So when you're wrong, don't just try to say, oh, I'm never wrong, and have your ego get in the way. Go back, look at what you were looking at, and then figure out if you were wrong, what you could have done, right? So today, am I wrong? I would say I'm wrong, right? I was right in the fact of ES reaching for this previous day low. I was just wrong in how I could have actually anticipated or got on side. Why do we not look at YM? You could look at YM here. It's just for me, a lot of times when it's trended so far down, and you have all these failure swings, I'm not a huge fan of trading that right here. I'd rather take ES, right? Does that make sense? Any questions, or does that make sense? Did you learn something from my mistake? Because that would be the goal. Yeah, makes sense. Have you been... It was a rainy, cold day in November 2022. I was at my house. I was actually kidnapped. I was taken to a facility. I had a mask over my face. I could not see anything. And they whispered into my ear, "He trades. We will tell you the secrets to the market." From that point on, I knew everything. They gave me the source code to the fractal model. I understood how price forms swing points. No, obviously, no, I don't get kidnapped, bro. I just studied the charts for like 3 years, 4 years. What am I at, 6 now? You know what I mean? Like, that's such a funny question. Sorry, I had to troll a little, guys. We gotta have fun. All right, YM's weakest, right? So what can we see? You're asking, can ES continue? Sure, ES can continue. I really don't. You guys see how my chart's getting like slightly fuzzy? Really annoying. ES can continue, right? Or YM if it wants. And dude, I don't know why it's getting fuzzy. Can you guys see that, or is it just on my screen? Anyways, it could reach for these lows, but I would probably expect FOMC. Then why am I wrong today? Because I'm wrong. I don't win every trade, guys. I'm not always right on my analysis. It was clearly a joke. Oh my gosh. Imagine making a joke and some guys in chat is like, well, you're wrong. I'm like, all right, thanks. I knew that. It's not fuzzy. It must be just, I don't know. I'm loading one more time. It's so annoying. But if YM continues through its previous day low, that means the next weakest asset, well, yes, could reach for that. Right. Yeah, definitely messed up today. Definitely could have caught that opening move if I... Oh well, though. Where is TT Brother? TT Brother is in the Discord right now, handling support, helping people with tickets and stuff. T Trades needs glasses. All right, apparently we are now on the hate on T Trades in the comments. So like, if you guys have any hate you want to get out, feel free. Project that out onto me. I really don't care if you hate on me, so feel free. You can do that if you want. No, AM Trades is not my brother. TT Brother is actually my brother, biological. Dollar. I mean, yeah, dollar is just sketchy, right? Very shallow sweep. Very hard to consider that. So, euro, probably same. It's really annoying me how my charts are getting fuzzy. T trades, what do you have gotten on side on the SMT via NQ on ES? Yeah, that would have been the trade, the ES one. Why are you keeping it vague? What do you mean, bro? Keeping what vague? No, we will not DM you guys on Discord. All right, we'll watch ES. It's gonna be the only interesting thing here. Okay, really quick. Cap. If you were trying to trade the opening short, it'd have been on something like a 3-minute. Do you feel good when you teach us for free that took you years to learn? Yeah. I mean, what's the point of learning stuff if you're not going to share it with people? You know what I mean? Like, here's my thing is sharing this doesn't reduce my edge because the market has to form a swing point to reverse, right? So it'd be one thing if I like created a bot and shared that would mess it up. But if I create a bot, I'm just never going to share that, so. What was the learning process when you started? Poof. Took a 1.5 years, 2 years of losing money trading options. No, I have settlement turned off. Watch YM. Yeah, should be a little stronger. All right, I'm looking to see if we can form a swing in here on ES based off the fact that YM's getting a continuation here currently. Dude, I think I've been streaming too much because my throat is sore from talking. How to trade pairs like USD JYP? Well, you can trade JPY, but not JYP. I don't know what that is. But if you're using correlated pair, you just use dollar for the SMT. Right. Why are you keeping your analysis vague? If you want, here's the thing. Anyone on chat wanna? I think he might be new. What do we do in this stream? We talk about our bias, anticipation, etc. We don't do signals, etc. If you want to go trade, you can go take your own trades, right? You're responsible for your trading. I am not. I'm not going to be liable for that. And yeah, so it's It's not, I mean, vague. Today is I messed up, right? More difficult day. Yesterday, I had an arrow with a high drawn in. It was pretty easy. Drink some more water. I have my water next to me. Just my throat's getting sore. There's no secret sauce, guys. There's no secret sauce. What's my expectation for FOMC? Guys, I don't know what they're going to do with rates, and I don't know what the market's going to do. How would I know that? I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just a dude. You know? Hey T, why daily bias invalidation goes wrong? You got to take a look into the other assets as well. So let's go take a look at that. Because yes, NQ invalidated the bias, right? But it's been chopping around. It's more choppy. It's the strongest asset right now. What's the weakest? YM. YM invalidates the EQ up here, right? What's the target for ES? Just the daily swing low. So guys, another quick lesson. Targets. I almost always use daily highs and lows as targets. You know what I mean? So what do we have? Look at the separator. Here's a daily low. Here's a daily low. That's daily low's already been taken. That's a daily low. So what would I use for targets here? Probably all the daily lows, right? All right, and guys, please don't spam the same question over and over and over. It's quite annoying. Like I don't even know the word here. Let's connect on Discord. Like if you keep spamming that, I'm just gonna mute you. That's not beneficial to the stream. If you keep asking the same thing of why did the daily bias invalidation fail? It's like I already answered that, you know? All right. Makes sense why these are targets now? And then this is the relevant one. So that's the. You obviously don't want to see it reverse off this low, but. Do you use ADR? I don't have a video on it yet, but I definitely look at the daily range of candles and see if it makes sense. T, what are you adding more to the indicator in future? Probably just some bias stuff and a few other things to filter stuff. How to trade options with this. Biker883G, do you mean index options? Do you mean single stock options or what? Hey guys, guess what? The site is back up. Let's go. Fire. Let's go. That's actually hype. That was really annoying. If you're doing index options, I'll talk about it. So index options are the same thing as we went over earlier in terms of the difference between the ETF, the future, the index, right? And so you're trying to basically trade, you know, either the ETF options or the index options, right? I would still chart on futures and trade on the others. That's how I personally do it. So that's how I do it. So like if I want to trade QQQ, for instance, I'm still going to chart on NQ futures, right? Hey T, wait, what's YM doing? Okay. Hey T, can you please tell me how many trades you take in a week? Normally it's like 1 to 2. Nothing crazy. All right, hey T, can you show on NQ how to plot the next day model bias? Sure, we can go to the daily chart and talk about bias in a little. So, all right, so there we go. Nice move. Why was I checking YM? I was making to confirm. As long as YM doesn't reverse, I'm not expecting ES to just reverse off this low. I don't know what you mean by SMT between silver and copper is true. You've said that 3 times. Bro, your protecting stop isn't working. I really don't know what you mean with that, but you'd have to give me an example. Hey T, I was wondering if you plan on learning order flow or footprint charts. No. I used to learn TPO, depth of market, all that. Spent like 6 months doing it. I have 3 screens. Anyways, so there is a nice little move on ES, right? So what did we watch? We watched it reach up, form a swing, right? Up here. You can go back, check the 1 minute, but what do we have if you wanted to trade this? A sweep, closure through. That gives you 2R to that low. So there you go. Right? And this is an example of people have asked before, how do you trade like a lagging asset? I never trade the lagging, only the middle. So I never in this scenario would go trade NQ back here. For personally, I would only trade ES because it's weaker. But plus 2.75 R on that move. Let's go. Nice work. Anyone else catch a little piece? Hey, your video you recently shared on protecting stops isn't working. 10 trades, 6 lose. Well, you got to have context to the trade. Don't just pattern trade it. You took it as well. Got 200 handles, got 2.5 R. Nice. Type a 1 if you took it. Because here's the thing, guys. Like, this is the whole goal of the stream. I'll give you an idea. You got to go do something with it, right? Hey, T, do you really only trade 1 to 2 weeks? 1 to 2 a week? Yeah. Sometimes I'll get 3. Sometimes I'll get 4. But I don't really try to go crazy. 1 to 7 on NASDAQ. Nice. Seems like a lot of you guys took it. Well done. The arrow has come out 3 times this week. The arrow has been right 3 times this week. All right. You always use inside bars for bias? I just use the daily candles, really. The arrow is just a funny way of me saying that I draw something on my chart. Confused how you saw this. It's like candle 6 on the hour. It's just a correlation between multiple indices where this has taken out its target, but it's continuing through it, in which I expect this trend to continue on the middle asset to kind of catch back up, because this was essentially flat on the day. This one's down almost 1% now. Or, you know, so yeah, it's a different candle in the hourly, but it's still an expansion candle, right? And this really only kind of works right at 9:30, 10. So yeah, today is the last day to get the indicator on sale. And now that the website works, I don't think I'll run another day. Your indicator helped me see things a bit clearer. Nice. It helps me a lot too, right? Like, here's the thing, right? I can see, you know, when this candle opens here, that we made a new open at 10 a.m., reach higher, and then we start to form a wick, right? Or that's what I'm expecting in the lower half of this. If I just remove all of this and don't have anything on there, I don't get all that context, right? So like, that's why I always have it on my screen, right? It really helps me in terms of the context of higher time frames and just like where I'm at, where I am in the higher time frame candle, that type of stuff. How do you determine which is the weaker pair? Well, now that the website is up, the best way to go about this is go to my website, go to the Education Center, and type in strength into the search bar. And you'll have this one that comes up that says relative strength and weakness, full guide. Go watch that. That's what I used here. I do a lot more swing trades, yeah. As I've traded up more, I trade less and I go to the higher time frames. T-trades, why when it sweeps the high you trust and wait for another CIST? It is because it fully reached the draw. Yeah, I mean, I was looking for price to trade into, like I said, a daily key level. It's kind of like yesterday, right? Yesterday we were also looking bearish. Or yesterday we were bearish because it hadn't taken out this low. So that's why I'm saying always focus on the daily, right? What's on my screen right now? Targets, daily highs and lows. Focus on them. +4R on ES short, entering pre-market 9:15, 15-minute CISD. Nice work. All right. So I learned from today. Hopefully you learned from today as well, right? If you notice, I'm not always perfect. All that stuff. All right. Shall we give away another thing? Trying to think of how to give it away because people I think have bots or something trying to do it. Maybe we'll do it in like. You guys want Lucid or Blue Guardian? What you want? Blue Guardian, Lucid, Indicator, Lucid, Blue Guardian. All right, maybe we'll do them both. All right. Mostly month. No, okay. All right. We'll do one of each. How about this? Ready? This is gonna be fun. Hold up, I'm cooking something. All right. You guys said Lucid, Blue Guardian, and Indicator. So, I'm not going to tell you which is which. There's a code for each. Good luck. The codes you send, where do I input them? If you're on the site where it says coupon code, you input a coupon code and that's where you do it. When the consolidations, what would you do? Wait for price to disrespect the area? So with a consolidation, I'll move this down so people can still see it if they haven't gotten it. In a consolidation, what's going to happen? Right? Like I said earlier, a sweep, go back into the range, sweep, go back into the range. Or you're going to have a, go ahead and copy this. How do I copy? There we go. Or you're going to have something like this, where price sweeps, okay, sweeps, and then what? It forms a continuation and breaks out. So you either sweep the range, come back in, or you break out of the range, right? So what did I notice, you know, going back here? Well, I noticed we weren't staying in the range, right? I was like, okay, we're breaking out, cool. Which means that I'm wrong on the consolidation side. And then I was just looking towards what is actually the targets. I went to the weakest asset. I'm good at backtesting, terrible in the live market. Usually what this means is, this is the biggest common thing I see. You don't have to spam it. Now this is like third time you said it. Guys, please don't spam. You wait for closures in backtesting. In live market, you try to use a non-closed candle to anticipate. This is usually what happens. You'll be doing something, you're like on the hour, you're just waiting for a closure. But then when you go into a live market, the hourly candle's still forming. You're like, oh, I'm going to anticipate this before it closes. And then boom, you already are taking something. And then it doesn't close and you're like, wait, why did I even do something like that? T, how to handle losses. When my first trade in the day is an L, I just blow up the account. All right, here, I got a really easy fix for you. Ready? I'm going to give you two choices here. Change your reaction or quit trading. That's all you got, right? Other than that, you're wasting your time. You are just not taking accountability and you're being too lazy to actually make change in your life. You know that when you take a loss, you want to go tilt. And you're just like, oh, I blow up an account. It's not my problem. Like, I just do it no matter what. Like, no, make an active decision to stop doing that. You either do that, you change, or you quit trading because it's never going to work out for you. Right? That's your only choices. So normally the best way to fix this is one trade a day max, because clearly anytime you take a trade and expose to the market, you have a chance to blow up. So you want to expose yourself to the market less. Got it? And yeah, that might seem harsh, but like I'm not here to like sugarcoat things. I'm just going to give you the truth. You either change or you got to quit. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. Biker883, I already answered that question for you. It's the exact same, but just trading on options. All right. What about 2L in a day max? Are you the same person that said they blow up the account? Here's the thing, ready? Imagine you're like, hey, after one trade, I blow up my account every time. T trades, what did he say? Hey, after one trade, get off. Nah, I think I'm better off exposing myself to the market 2 times. Having not blow up twice. Like, how does that make logical sense? Like, hey, I want to blow up my account whenever I take a loss. Hey, maybe try 1 trade a day. You know what? Maybe 2 is better. I want to have to put myself through it twice and make sure I don't blow up my account twice in one day. Gold. I mean, yeah, it took out the lows, but I don't really have much anticipation for it. That wasn't the same person. Well, sorry, I just cooked you. Didn't mean to do that, but same thing. Still applies. It's a lesson. You said 1 trade a day, but sometimes I don't find trade. 1 trade a day max. This doesn't mean not the same as minimum. You don't have to go in there and be like, T-Trade says 1 trade a day. I have to go take a trade today. Like, no, it's like max 1 trade a day. Do I trade any Forex pair besides gold? Gold is not a Forex pair. Gold is a commodity. But sometimes I will. T, what is the best financing company you recommend? I have no idea about financing stuff. The only debt or loan I have is for a car, and that's to build better credit. Yo, Biker, if you keep spamming the same thing, I'm going to have to mute you. For options, I'm going to trade the exact same way. I just take it on options instead of the futures. Your real name is Tommy? If you say so. Tell us about your chef. I mean, he just cooks food for me. He's a homie. All right. Should start a wellness channel. Yeah, I'll probably do that at some point in my life. All right, we have a couple things left. You've debt too. You do realize debt is not a bad thing when you utilize it. I utilize debt to increase my cash flow. Think about it this way, ready? I guess we'll just go into a lesson on debt. I'm not a FA, CPA, etc. None of this is advice. Let's say I want a car. Okay, think about that, right? This car is 100K. Cool, right? If I buy this car in cash, I just spend 100K. Okay. Let's say I invest this 100K and get 10% return on the year. I made, wait, we're gonna change it. We're gonna do 80K. Ready? Let's say I invest 80K on the year, get 10% return, and I make 8K. Okay. Now let's say I put down 20K and then invest 80K, right? Well, I don't know what your mortgage is, whatever. We'll just say I owe 1K a month on it. So if I put down 100K, right, I just used all that cash. I have my opportunity cost is I could have made 8K investing 80K of it, right? So there's an opportunity cost to putting that much money down versus if I put 20K down, I still have the 80K. I can go make 8K on the 80K, right? So if I put down all in cash, what do I have? No return, just a loan, right? If I put down 20K, I have 80K in a loan, I make 8K, I made 8K, minus the 12K I owe, I spent 4K on the year for that car. Versus on the other one, I spent 12K. So basically, if you take a loan, right? Like if I take a loan on my car, right? I don't put down as much cash. I can use that cash to go invest, get a return on my money. And so I'm not, like the opportunity cost is better to go invest my money than put it onto a car. So that's why I have a loan on my car. So I'm not just wasting cash. It's just not sitting there, right? I'd rather pay interest as long as I can outweigh that interest with investments. You know what I mean? You can go learn about economics and stuff if you want and all of that. It makes a lot more sense when you get into like real estate and stuff like that, but 99% of cars are depreciating assets. Yeah, if you buy shit cars. Go tell me what the 488 Easta did. Go tell me what the GT2 RS did last year. GT3 RS did last year. Go to the SVJ. Go to any of those. Those like doubled your money. So sure, if some cars, yes, are depreciating assets. Some can also be used for other purposes and stuff. Yeah. Like those are 1% cars. Well, yeah, they are. But like if you just generally say depreciate an asset, like I can make a counterpoint. What if you make 5% less? What if you make minus 5% a year? Or you mean less than 5% a year? If you make minus 5% a year, you probably should get a little bit better at investing your money, to be honest. What am I investing in? Bro, this is not really, this is supposed to be a trading stream, but it's like, I invest in the market, I do private equity, I create other businesses, I getting into real estate. Like I try to diversify my money across multiple different streams of income slash asset classes. So then that way, when one thing is doing well and the other is not, my money is still doing well. You know what I mean? What car did I have before the RSQ8? I won't tell you the exact one, but I had a car worth maybe $6,000 and I drove it all the way until this last fall. I don't really care for much material things. All right, let's go back to the market, you know? Other than the fact that I'm not looking for anything, because what do we talk about? Why, who can say in chat? Why would I not enter short here? It's not that we don't have any drawn liquidity. It's lows taken, right? We're already below lows, right? So look at our daily range. You know, people are better with daily range on NASDAQ. But anyways, we have a decent daily range. We're already below the lows of the targets. This is not where it makes sense to be looking short, right? All right, that's the lesson there. NQ took it out. YM still dying. Yeah, not much to do today. We can give away last few codes, or maybe I'll just go drop them. How about this, guys? Let me just drop them on Twitter. How about that? Go to my tweet right now. I'm dropping 4 indicator codes. Good luck. Car depreciated too quickly. You should lease the car with a return on your investment. There's also other things around, like depending on what you do for businesses and such, where you can write off certain expenses and whatnot. Also, if you understand the depreciation and how accelerated depreciation works, depreciation isn't a horrible thing sometimes. Like, let's say you go buy a commercial real estate property. You want to use the depreciation to accelerated depreciation cost segregation to help reduce your tax bill for that given year. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not even talking about car. I'm just talking about in general depreciation over assets. Any giveaways for the indicator? I just dropped 4 codes on Twitter. Anyways, we're so off track. I don't even know what to talk about. What is time distortion? All right, let me show you. We're back into it, guys. What is time distortion? What are macros? What is a Reaper gap? What is apparently the new one's chain of custody? Whatever. Chain of XXX. Whatever. All of these things are shiny, random things that don't matter and won't help you. Learn basics and swing points. Like, I don't, people are like, time distortion, it consolidated and then it did this. It's like, bro, you didn't just take like a time machine to the next day and missed all the price action. Like, price still was sat there for an hour, right? So like, I don't know. My understanding was people would be like, oh, you know, there's some sort of consolidation here. And then it expands. So I'm just gonna pretend like this doesn't exist and this is the low and this is just time to sort. Like, what are you talking about? It just consolidated, bro. You know what I mean? I don't know if the indicator will be on other platforms just because it's coded in this language, so would have to code it in other ones. Hey T, what has helped you the most in your trading when you were still a beginner? The biggest thing that helped me in my trading was not technical. It was don't tilt, don't revenge trade, don't oversize, don't do dumb stuff. That's what helped me in my trading. Like the moment I started doing this stuff, trading actually started to do a lot better, you know? But like, think about it this way, ready? Where you guys are gonna have like a heart-to-heart moment with yourself here. How many accounts have you blown up by simply following your model with position sizing proper, not going on tilt, not revenge trading? Simply you lost that many trades in a row. Let me guess. None. Literally no one does all these things and blows up an account. Like it's always this. So literally, you blew up an account. I bet some of you probably blew up an account this week, and you're sitting there like trying to ignore it and just like, oh, the market sucks, the conditions, this. Like, no, stop trying to blame the market. Look in and start blaming yourself, because you're doing the stuff that is causing yourself to fail. Like you are the reason you are failing right now, not the market. So stop trying to push the accountability onto the market or random conditions or whatever. Take accountability in your trading, and simply it comes down to the two choices you have: make change or quit trading. That's it. Otherwise you waste your time, right? You make change, you start to make progress. Or if you never make change, what are you doing? You're simply going to waste years of your life. So these are your options. That's it. Everything else is a waste of time. And trading is not made out for everyone, right? Like if you can't ever not do this stuff, like you can't make change, you just need to quit. Like that's the honest truth. And you might not like it, but that's how it works. T, do you know interbank? I don't know what that is. I know what swing points are, guys. That's it. I lost 11K yesterday after tilt from a payout. Now I'm climbing my way back up following my plan. Yeah, so there you go. Right? Imagine if you limited yourself to a max loss on the day. Let's say your max loss is $1,000. It might suck to lose $1,000. But what sucks more? Losing $1,000 and sitting in that discomfort, or having what happened yesterday where you lose $11,000 and now you're having to climb it back? You know what I mean? Like you're gonna be uncomfortable. Trading is not something where it's just like, oh, it's just always easy no matter what. Like you still have emotions. You're gonna have these things that come up. You just have to not do dumb stuff. You're short on ES, what would be a good target? So this is why I don't do signals and stuff. Ready? This is my question for you. Well, what was your target when you placed the trade? You know what I mean? Like, what was your plan? I'm assuming what happened is you got into a trade, you have no plan, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm winning. No, you're not winning because you're trading without any plan, nothing. So I can't tell you a target. That's something you need to figure out for yourself. This is the whole reason I don't give signals or anything like this, because otherwise you're not going to develop these skills. No, but when I have my target LOL, but I'm asking your opinion. Well, my opinion doesn't matter because it's your trading, right? Where do you think price is going? Right? My bias was to these lows. If I was short up here, I wasn't. Right? I wasn't short up in here. We talked about that. Then I could be holding runners or something, right? but this is my initial target. So it depends where you're short, where are your actual targets. How to improve psychology. Give some tips. When you think about doing something stupid, don't do it. There you go. Number one psychology tip. You can quote me on this one. Feel free to tweet it and tag me on Twitter. Trades. Think about it. All of your psychological issues. Oh, I think I know I shouldn't be revenge trading here, but I think I'm gonna do it. Oh, when you think about doing something stupid, don't do it. Like it's really, that's how it works with psychology. You guys think you're gonna read some book or someone's gonna say something to you that's just gonna fix your psychology? No, you just need to stop doing dumb stuff. Like tell me I'm wrong. You're not gonna watch something that's gonna be like, do XYZ and you'll never have a psychological issue or emotions. You'll never feel emotions in trading for the rest of your life. Like, no, that's not how it works. Like if you put size on, you're still gonna feel something, right? It's just you gotta not do something stupid when you think about doing something stupid. Like, I don't know. Why do you think there's not a psychology video on my channel? I can go make one for you guys if you want. I'll make a psychology video. It will literally be 30 seconds. I'll say, hey guys, here's the best psychology tips of the day. When you think about doing something stupid, don't do it. Bang, end of video. Maybe I'll do that. Next year, April Fools. Something like that. Guys, I have no expectation for FOMC. I never trade after FOMC. I just wait for the next day. But like, if you want my psychology advice, that is it. I'm not a psychologist. That's what I've learned. I have learned with every student I have helped. Literally all it comes down to is just stop doing dumb stuff. Like I had literally someone go from just blowing accounts to getting funded in 4 days and then going to get a payout. And they're like, wow, I just stopped doing dumb stuff. And I was like, crazy. All right. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. We're now at half the viewers that we started with. What if I'm so stupid that I don't know what doing stupid is? Honestly, if you're that stupid, you're probably better at trading because you don't overthink rules. I doubt that you're that stupid. You know? Can you lock your account on live accounts? You can set max loss limits and stuff like that. After joining the mentorship, how often can people ask you something? You can tag me every day. I have a runner open on YM, 5-minute not marking protected swings. And yeah, that's quite the move, to be honest. Can't say I expected that far. I mean, the easiest way is like, if you want to trail stuff, you can look at daily swings, right? This daily swing's down here. So that's still quite a bit of range. If you really are wanting to like trail things, you can just watch reactions at these previously hour swing points and then trail to new continuations. If you are like, hey, I'm starting to want to get out of this I'm expecting it to, start to react, you can go down to a lower time frame and start to trail like, all right, well, here's a new swing, protected swing on 3-minute. Like ideally we don't return to that. So it's like, why would I have my stop up here? It's like, that'd be fine. All right, let's say we go in here, hit, all right, cool. You know what I mean? If you want to trail tighter, you can just use a lower time frame, right? Because on the 5-minute, there's not really anything. I mean, you could use this swing, even though it's not technically protected. When was your shift to being profitable? When I stopped doing dumb stuff. Like, guys, it's really that. Like, yes, a model helps. Yes, having a system works. But like, if you keep doing dumb stuff, it doesn't matter how you're trading. Does your indicator allow you to remove the triads? You can go into the indicator and choose what you want in terms of SMT and asset correlation. So it's on automatic. which you can see I use. You can turn it to custom, and then you can input whatever you want. I'm gonna go turn that back to automatic. Well, let's use my template. No, I only really trade Asia if I'm looking for a whole daily range. Don't think I've ever heard you swear. I try not to swear. Yeah, sometimes it comes out, but I do my best not to. Anyways, we'll probably end the stream here because this is what happens, right? We get off topic. This is what the stream starts doing. Is people are like, cool, we're talking about analysis, and they're like, I want signals, or this sucks. So, I don't know. I find that you don't really need to swear for the most part to get your point across. I find that if you swear a lot, you lack intelligence. That's my opinion. Like, I think that you can't put together sentences, so then you swear to try to make up for that fact. So like, if you ever had a conversation with someone and they just like swear 95% of the time, I'm like, holy, this sounds like this is not a fun conversation. You know what I mean? Yo, David, this is actually David. I don't know who you are, but this is funny, bro. This is a funny comment. That is a funny comment. Yo, that's a mad funny comment. Vag is. Wait, where is? Wait, someone said. I gotta see what this said. Tyler, where are you? I actually do cuss a little. I gotta go find this because what is the one right above it? I want to see what he was talking about. Trying to find it. You're saying not to do dumb stuff is so vague, but it's actually helpful. Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool. All right, ready? This is going on Twitter. This is a funny comment. David's about to be featured on my Twitter. Oh, I actually think I have to do this one. Bro, I've had some funny comments today. Like, I don't really get upset at comments or hate or anything like that, but there's some that are just so funny to me. Like, David, that's a good comment, man. Isn't that like 50 cents? I don't know. Thank you, man. Tell us some of the dumb stuff. I did. Normally root cause of issues. So tilt, revenge trade, etc. Usually this stems from something like fear, you know, not accepting risk, etc. Honestly, if we wanted to, one day we can take someone who's dealing with issues. I'll put them on stream and I'll answer their questions and redirect them. Could be fun. All right, we're at 500 people now. So we'll probably end it there. We kind of got off topic, but you know, we talked about good stuff and then we talk about whatever we want. It's part of the fun, you know? You prefer MacBook or Windows? I have a Mac. I built a Windows, but like, I don't know. Mac is honestly just better. OGs will always be here. Yeah. Maybe I'll start waiting to do the giveaways till like the very end when T-trades I find myself closing out early. Is this bad? Let's answer it. All right, what type of problem is this? What does it stem from? The root cause of this is what? Fear. Fear of seeing money go green to gone. So like basically money go away. We'll keep it simple. Basically profit to break even, or even profit to loss. Why is this a problem? Well, it has to do with math and stats. Let's say you have a 2R system. Oh, wow, I can't spell system. There you go. You need what? A 34% win rate to break even. Let's say you take all your profit early and you're taking it at like a 1-to-1. They're taking profit early. What did you just do to your system? You just completely changed your system. No longer do you have to win 34% of the time. Now you have to win 50% of the time to break even. So when you're taking profit early, you might think, oh, I'm locking in profits, I'm doing this. I view it the other way around where I'm saying, if I take profit early here, I now have to have a higher win rate. Like I'm forcing myself into having a higher win rate because I'm taking profit too early. You know what I mean? So you need to, look into yourself, figure out what is happening. Usually it's just the fear of, being up on a trade and then watching it go away or taking a loss, all of that. Usually how this stems is, let's say you're in a long. You don't actually care when you get stopped out. You're fine if it just does that and stop you out. But what really stresses you out is when it goes like this. Because you're watching this and your brain registers that as a positive feedback and then this as a negative feedback. When in reality, you have absolutely no control over what the market does from the time you enter to the time you exit. You just control the prices at which you enter and exit and the time of your entry. So why are you caring about what is happening in here if you have no control over it? So it also comes down to a what? Control issue. So most likely you like to control everything in your life, right? You don't like to give up control. Probably impacted relationships, other things like that. You got to realize, guys, a lot of trading is not just oh, it's a trading issue or something. Like this will go into your actual psychology of how you act as a person, right? So sure, I might just be like psychoanalyzing you, from the fact that you're closing early and saying, hey, you like to have control in your life. But I've done this a lot to the point where it's like, normally I'm not wrong about that. You know what I mean? So, okay, well, yeah, let's say this is true. Let's say Carson's sitting here and he's like, I do like to have control in my life. It stresses me out when I don't have control. Well, what do you have to do? You have to learn, and this will also help with, let's say, what's a big thing you deal with? Usually when you want to have control, you struggle with anxiety. I don't know if that's how you spell it, yeah, right? So you probably struggle with anxiety, right? Most people try to go on medication, all that stuff. Personally, I used to struggle with anxiety. I didn't go on medication. I figured out, what can I control? What can't I control? Stop worrying about anything in this box. Until you can do that, you're always going to have anxiety from wanting to have control, which is always going to come bleed back into your trading. So it's like, you see how this simple, I find myself closing trades early, is this bad? I didn't mean to go so deep on you, and hopefully you don't care, which considering the fact that you said WT trades holy, you don't mind it. But that's probably the root cause of why you're trading your closing trades early, is you're anxious about not having control and giving up this profit. And so that's why you're closing trades early, because what happens when you close trades early? You tell your brain, I am in control. You are trying to essentially take back control of the market. Are you in control of the market? No. You have to give this up, put it in this box, and forget about it. And no, I don't read psychology books. I just understand people. I understand emotions. I understand all this stuff. And I'm very good at reading people. So anyways, hopefully that helps you, gives you some direction in the fact that now you're not answering the question of, is this bad? It goes a lot deeper than that, right? And for those of you, that seems very accurate. So seems like I was pretty spot on. Right? I think that's called like psychoanalyzing, right? What is it? Psycho and oh, look at that. Yeah. All right. Guys, that's my next thing. I'm going to start psychoanalyzing people's trading to come figure out where their root causes are from their childhood. No, I don't know. I don't enter a trade out of fear. Well, where's the fear coming from? Most likely it's a fear of loss. You don't want to take a loss, so you're afraid to enter because you haven't accepted the fact that you're not going to have a 100% win rate. You're probably competitive, want to always win, right? You got to get rid of that. That's your problem with like fear. The fear is derived. You got to realize, yes, you're like, I have a fear of trading. Cool. What is the fear derived from? Until you find the actual root cause, you can't address things. Are you a neurodivergent? I don't know what that means. Let me look it up. What does neurodivergent mean? All right, we're looking up on Google. Persons whose brain processes information, learns, and behaves differently from societal norm. Probably. I think a lot differently than most people. I also never stop thinking. I feel like I can't make it in trading. I'm so tired. Unfortunately, that sentence doesn't give me anything to work off of, so I can't really help you. Other than just, you gotta try. Yeah, Carson, have a good one. I'm learning ICT and I've seen 2022 2 times and now core content. I would watch core concepts month 1 and then just only watch my content, to be honest. T, can you help with the most common root cause of fear in trading? I think it's usually depending on per person. Like specific things that you do in your trading reveal your fears, right? Like, hey, my fear revolved around placing a trade is different than a fear revolved around closing my trades early, right? They're both a fear, but they stem from different things. You know what I mean? Oh, I definitely have some like OCD or something. I'm very systematic and organized in certain things. That's why, like, if you look at my indicator, it's very specific, and just like everything. I've been told I have OCD. Trouble sleeping. Anything you take for sleep. Yeah, let's fix this guy's sleep. All right. Usually, there's a few different causes for this type of stuff. I'm gonna ask you a quick question. Would you say it's more of like muscles or nervous system? Probably a bit of both, but what would you say is more prominent in your inability to sleep? Do you find that your muscles are very, like your body feels very active and energetic at night? Or do you find that you can't relax? Because that will kind of depend on what I choose. But normally for this, you want to address a few things. It's neurotransmitters, muscle relaxant, all of that type of stuff, right? So with that, there's a few main supplements. You have magnesium, but magnesium comes in all kinds of different forms, right? So what is my favorite? You know, you have glycinate, taurate. I prefer magnesium taurate. This is a little better for your nervous system. And then I'll also get glycine, right? So magnesium glycinate is magnesium paired with glycine, right? So I like glycine powder. I like this one as a powder because I can put it in tea or anything. It tastes like sugar, right? So magnesium taurate, that's taurine. And then L-theanine. And then if you're still struggling and you have some sort of blood sugar issues, spiking, because if you spike your blood sugar in the night, you're gonna wake up. Then I would look into mayo inositol. So that's what I would do for that. Obviously, I am not a doctor. These are not recommendations. This is just for me. And then this is at night, probably like an hour before bed. This, I'll say, I would probably do like 300 milligrams. This one, I don't measure it. I just kind of go with feel, but on both of these, you can just take the dose. But like, I'm very aware of my body and what supplements do to it, and I just take stuff depending on how much I need of it. You know, yeah, also blue light. I mean, the normal stuff, right? Which is like light. So blue light, get that off. Flash. Keep room dark. Don't sleep near phone. Like all the basic stuff, you know what I mean? I'm not a huge fan of lion's mane personally, but you know, to each their own. Taurate, taurine is actually fire. It also can be like somewhat of a nootropic. So yeah. Let's see. Which chart provider? I use CME data. It is CME. I use NinjaTrader with CME. If you want to check out NinjaTrader and you want to check out the data, check them out for free for 2 weeks. Using the link in the description below. You gotta sign up. It's completely free. You can check that out. Let's see. If you want to learn about time-based exits, I watched my stream yesterday. Pretty fire on that. What do you think's the biggest cap in trading? I don't know. I don't really pay attention to everyone's drama, dude. I just help people and live my life. I tend to hesitate when getting into a trade, even when all the boxes ticks. What can you suggest? That's a fear of taking a loss. This is simply a fear of losing. So why are you afraid of taking a loss? I don't want to do a whole psychoanalysis from not even knowing someone to just one sentence on this one, but go try to dive into that. The real ones are left in the stream. Yeah, I appreciate you guys that are still here. I do enjoy. Obviously, you guys can hear me. You know, when you see all my videos, that type of stuff, it's all tailored around trading content. But I do a lot of other stuff. Like I own other businesses. I do a lot of health stuff. You know, I do a lot of other things in my life that I don't particularly just talk about on social media. So sometimes it goes into the streams. How do you know so much about health? Where do you learn it from? The biggest thing about learning health is it's normally issues you've dealt with yourself and you've resolved, and then you figure out how to fix them and you just keep going, and then it's pattern recognition. So the more you deal with, the more you've learned and the more patterns you recognize. You know, like, what have I done? I've solved someone's sleep that they couldn't sleep for 12 years. I've solved someone's asthma. They don't have asthma anymore. Like, I've done a lot of things, and it's solely from learning from my own stuff and then pattern recognition and basically like analyzing it, right? So like I kind of did on here where I took one person and analyzed it. It's doing the same thing, but it's for health. I'm obviously not at a point where it's like I could have a course on health or consult or do any of that, but I'd just like to help. Best way to quit nicotine. I can't get off the pouches. I'm actually coming out with a product that should help with that. The goal is to help people quit nicotine or use less of it by repairing their adrenals, among a few other things, and kind of giving the same feeling without anything. So I will be launching that in the next, hopefully 2 months or so. We've signed the contracts, done all that. We just gotta pay and get the manufacturing started. What's the product? It's gonna be a pouch, but it has no nicotine in it. Is THC bad for traders? I mean, I would probably say THC is bad in general, and cannabis in general due to its heavy metal content and what it does to your brain and other things. But like I said, I'm not a doctor. Can't recommend things. Do what you want with your life. Will it be worldwide? We'll probably just ship in the States to start. Then once we break even and start to actually cash flow the business, I'll be able to reinvest and expand and do that type of stuff. I have one fear I have is cutting my trade is due to little pullbacks and drawdowns. So it's due to missing out my trade idea. All right, Nelson, let's try to reframe your idea here. Because usually what happens is you're in some sort of trade, right? And it'll be like this, and then it pulls back and you get nervous, right? Stop viewing this pullback as something bad. View it as, oh, when it goes here and does this, now I can trail my stop loss to here. So don't view pullbacks as bad. View it as a good opportunity that will soon allow you to manage your stop loss and help your brain with that fear, right? Am I in Florida? Yeah. CBD, I think CBD can be okay, but still, I think heavy metal content is one of the biggest issues with cannabis and that type of stuff. Do I trail your stops? Yeah, I'll trail my stops. Right, that's kind of what I talked about down here. I was like, you want to get out of this thing, right? Like start trailing your stops. Is obviously like, look, can we see the momentum? Look how the momentum is slowing. So like once the momentum slows, like, are you really expecting price to just dump right away? You know what I mean? What would you recommend for asthma? The one person I helped with asthma was very simple. I just did black seed oil twice a day. Combined with zeolite? No. The heavy metal exposure and detoxing from heavy metals is not as simple as taking the zeolite. It's a lot more advanced. It goes a lot deeper than you think. And so it's not as simple as that, to be honest with you. You can't just take a zeolite and expect never to have heavy metals. Are you a pharmacist? No. I just really enjoy learning about health stuff. Is trading binary like No, it's not. What up, Nick? Bro just comes into my stream. Bro went from T-Trades to T-Finance to T-Meta. Yeah. I don't know, guys. Here's the thing. There's a few things about life. I've learned a lot about life because when you almost die in life or have some things happen, you get a different perspective. But there's a few things. If you stop thinking or creating things, you die. If you stop moving, you die. That's why you see people that are like always doing stuff. They live to such an old age, you know? Like if you just retire and then sit at home for 5 years straight, like you probably are dying soon, you know what I mean? Yeah, black seed oil is it's a cold pressed oil that you will take orally. If you want, I would find, instead of zeolite, I would find a better binder and then EDTA and other things to help like chelate the metals. You know what I mean? Because you have to chelate them and then bind with them. But it's also, you have to look at where heavy metals actually get stored within your body. It's not as simple as like, oh, they're just in my gut. Take a zeolite and it binds with it. Yeah, NAC is solid. Like NAC is a solid supplement. I think creatine is a solid supplement as well. Shalit, I can't pronounce that thing ever. It's solid, except for the fact that you have to source it very sustainably and good. Otherwise, you are gonna get a lot of heavy metals. Ashwagandha, I'm not as big of a fan of. I think it can have its points where it can be useful, but I'm not a fan. I feel like it's almost like an SSRI in a sense. Yeah, Hugo, that's a W. High dose vitamin C has a lot of studies around many different things. But I'm not a huge fan of like. I would say Hugo, like if you're taking an EDTA, like you just want to make sure you're binding it. I would look into something like Pectisol or a binder that is solid for what you are basically chelating. Otherwise, you're just basically getting heavy metals from your fat tissues, putting it into your bloodstream, and that type of stuff, and you're just letting it go relocate somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like you actually have to bind with it. Omega 3, creatine, B. I don't know what magnesium. Oh, magnesium, vitamin D. The main thing, omega-3, it depends where you're getting it. I would prefer to get it from your food. Most fish oil, omega-3 supplements are fairly rancid. If you wanted to, I'd look into cod liver oil as one. Creatine's fine. If you're taking a B, I would definitely take a methylated B complex. B1 thiamine is pretty good. Benfotiamine. There's 3 forms of it. Most people do okay with just the HCl form. Vitamin D, I would take D3 plus K2 and also add a vitamin A in there, or you can just have liver, you know, or there's some good ancestral blends, at least in the United States, in terms of helping with the absorption of vitamin D, but also improving your sunlight schedule. Peptides have their use. I've definitely taken peptides before. Last 2 months, I've been trading my models. I backtested, took 15 trades, 14 losses, 1 win, down 5%. Well, first thing I would say is that's very good that you haven't blown up. I would just go review your losses and see what they have in common. But like I would say that you doing that, taking 14 losses in a row, and you're only down 5.5% means that you're following your model and you're very rules based, which is good. Ginger is good. Yeah, ginger is solid. You ever do a 3-day water fast? Yeah, I fast normally like maybe 1 day a week, max. Do I struggle with nicotine? No, I've never struggled with nicotine. I've used nicotine in off cases to deal with certain stressors, but it's only like a one-time use and more of a saving product versus anything like that. I think it has vast cardiovascular effects that are not very good. No, I'm not a med student. I never went to school for any of this. Can we trade protected swings? Is that a good strategy? I use protected strings within my strategy, yeah. How does the smell test work on the rancidity of fish oil? Not very good. Most of them are all rancid. If you want some good omega-3 and that type of stuff, just have cod liver in the tins like once a week. That'll help you a lot. Or just eat some seafood, that type of stuff. In the States, you have methyl guard from Thorn. Not here in Portugal. Yeah, we have some good methylated supplements here. Took 7 winning trades and lost everything in one trade. That's a position sizing issue or revenge trading or tilting. Usually what happens right here when someone does this, whenever I see this, normally one thing. This occurs when someone is oversized to the tits and they are scalping. So they'll take like way oversized, like they'll put in like 20x their size, try to catch a small move and win. And they'll do it like 5 or 6 times and they learn like, oh my gosh, I can make so much money this way. They lose one trade and then they blow up. So maybe rethink what you're doing. No, I don't smoke or drink. Oh my gosh, I gotta go eat food here soon. I have a abdominal pain that hit me this morning. Still feeling it. I think I'm dying. Pray to God. So I'm not a doctor. I can't really diagnose stuff. I obviously don't know. Abdominal pain can be a lot of different things. Did you eat something bad? Do you have something else going on? Like, I don't know that, so I can't help either. Have you ever opinion on psychedelics? I don't have an opinion on psychedelics. I've never studied them enough to know. How do you lose weight? Eat well. It's normally diet, metabolism related, and then obviously thermodynamics, and just obviously be in a calorie deficit. But obviously, don't put yourself in such a calorie deficit where you're stunting your metabolism. Like you actually have to eat. Don't eat after dark. Only eat when it's light out. If you put omega-3 in the freezer and freeze it after a few hours, it's not good omega-3. Omega-3 doesn't freeze. Yeah, I just don't mess with omega-3 to be honest. What's my diet? I have a chef that cooks for me, but I no seed oils, no gluten. It's really just slow cooked. I wanted more glycine within my food lately, so I've been doing more slow cooked meats. So slow cooked lamb, slow cooked beef. I like lamb because you get some DHA from it. It's mostly protein, decent fats. I've been increasing my carbohydrates intakes and glucose lately, so a little more on that. Best healer in the world for gut microbiome is sauerkraut kefir. So this is underrated comment, but there is some nuance to it. One, I completely agree with goat kefir. It's just like so fire for probiotics and that such and that type of stuff. The only thing is if you have some, SIBO or I don't know if Candida. I don't know if Candida would mess with that, but a lot of SIBO or some inflammation problems in your gut. If you spam, you know, more probiotics, you're just adding to the bacteria. Yeah, it'd be SIBO. You're adding to the bacterial infection essentially, making it worse. So you'd actually have to heal the gut, kill off the SIBO, then you work to implement this stuff. So yes, if your gut is in a good spot, this is going to be really good for you. But if you are not in a good spot with your gut, this can actually have a counterproductive impact where you're actually going to make your symptoms worse. But yeah. IBS. IBS is just a blanket term for gut problems. I don't know about SIBO yogurt. The thing about SIBO is there's biofilms. There's all the. I had SIBO. I solved it. Like it's very complex. How do you avoid gluten? It's not that hard, honestly. I mean, I'll eat gluten if I want to, but I just don't normally do it on a day-to-day basis. Why would doctors just describe your IBS and you never... Okay, here's the thing. A general doctor is going to know nothing about gut health. You know what I mean? Like, your general doctor is not going to know anything about this type of stuff. You know what I mean? It's like going to a surgeon and be like, hey, do you want to help me with my gut health? Like, no, they specialize in surgery. Like, you got to go to people that specialize in gut health. You know? So, like, if they're like, oh, you have IBS, you're just going to be like this. Like, one, IBS is a blanket statement to saying you have gut issues. Two, you wouldn't always be like that because you can fix it. Ozone therapy. I've never heard of that specific one, but I know ozone therapy can be good. Trader ZFX, just comment in the Discord. I'll try to help out. Ozone therapy is a scam? I don't know if you'd say it's a scam. There's lots of studies on ozone and how it can help. Like I said about SIBO is like if you just spam more bacterial into your gut, you already have bacterial overgrowth. So if you're spamming more bacteria in there, it's not going to help it. You have to address the cause, repair the gut lining, that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, if you want some easy stuff to help with gut, aloe vera juice. Bro, there's a ridiculous amount of studies on aloe vera juice. Just do like 4 ounces before every meal. Like I've created full stacks for people. Like I can go give you an example. Like here's an example. This was someone in my Discord that was struggling with stuff. So like probably won't say those words, but anyway, let's just not even add that. You know? So it's like healing their gut, certain different things, and then, you know, going in and hitting either parasites or candida yeast, that type of stuff. I remember you and my doc saying that a tablespoon apple vinegar with water and honey for days. Apple cider vinegar can be solid. I don't have a wellness chat in the Discord anymore. People just spammed it. It got to the point where people were just like, yo, keto only. Keto's the way. Don't eat carbs. And I'm just like, keto's the way for you because your gut is inflamed. It's great to eliminate things, but you need to heal your gut and then add stuff back in because completely reducing carbs is like, it's a great form of glucose and like energy. Like that's how you have energy. Glucose is energy. You know what I mean? Anything but actually trading. Yeah, Leo. I mean, you have fun with this, bro. If you want to go trade that, be my guest. I don't know if you're hating or not, but if you're hating, I'll take the hate. Have a good one. All right. Any last questions? I'll probably end the stream here. This is a fat stream. We got so off topic. We're talking about health stuff. Ideally, zinc should be taken with NaC. Here's the thing about zinc, right? What does zinc bind with in your body? Let's say you take an overdose of zinc. What is it going to do to your body? There's always, you got to think, there's always like a scale or a balance with things in your body. One thing gets thrown off, other things compensate. Zinc binds with copper in your body. So if you just start spamming zinc, you're going to deplete your body of copper. What does copper do? Right? It's this big cycle of things. So you can't just be like, add zinc and do it every day. Like it's, health is quite complex, right? I don't use order flow, so I'll not make a video on it. T, you always ignore me. I'm struggling to stick to my checklist. Well, what am I going to tell you to do? Hey, T, I'm struggling to stick to my checklist. Okay, well, follow your checklist. There you go. Hope that helped. He's 60 years old. Who's 60 years old? All right. Same with NAD. Yeah, NAD, B12, optimizing. Here's the thing, guys. Money is nothing without health. Don't, like, I sacrificed my health for a while. Stuff happened, but like, this is, ready? This is like, if go look at rich people. What happens? Ready? They go, sacrifice health for money. Use all the money they made to try to be healthy. Like, that's literally the cycle. Go look at people. They're old. All they're doing is trying to spend money to be healthy. So like, do what you do will with that information, you know? All right, we'll go ahead and end it there. Probably no stream tomorrow. I gotta make a video for this weekend, guys. I haven't made a video yet. Last promo. Today is the last day for my sale. So if you want to check out the indicator, the last day to get it under $25 a month, then it goes back to $45 a month. So hint for a new video. Everyone's asking about PSP, so I'm just gonna go make a video on it. I haven't made it yet, but any code for an indicator? Oh, I already gave a bunch away. All right. My voice is going out anyways. I hope you guys see. I can't stick to my checklist. Bro, I just answered this question. All right, I'll make it more clear. Stick to your checklist or quit trading. There you go. You have two choices. It is $25 a month. Here, I'll just go grab the graphic. It is 25, well, it's under $25 a month for a year, right? So that's for the first year. But you can buy as many years as you want. So if you want 2 years, you can just buy it twice and then open a ticket in the Discord and we'll add it so it's 2 years. How to deal with fear of losing and be wrong? You just have to accept the fact that you will lose, and you have to accept the fact that you're never going to be right all the time. All right. We'll go ahead and end it there. Super off-topic stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Learned something. I learned something. Just try to learn something every day, and you'll be good. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.